hope you're doing well. I'm really looking forward to our workout together today. We are going to be sculpting, strengthening, and toning our entire bodies. We're not going to be using any equipment. This is a body weight resistance workout. It's a low impact, but it's going to be fiery and effective. You're going to feel it in those abs, arms, glutes, and thighs. Of course, with any of the lower body work, if you want to step up the intensity, feel free to throw on a set of ankle weights, but even without, you're still going to get in a really effective workout. So this routine does include a warm-up and a cool down. Let's go ahead and dive right into our warm-up. We're going to start off with some shoulder rolls. So we're just going to stand or kneel nice and tall here. We're going to lift the shoulders up, inhale, and exhale to roll them down and back. So lift those shoulders nice and high and then roll them down and back. Really focusing on opening through the chest, getting into that Pilates breathing pattern of breathing in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth, getting rid of all that air in the lungs. Good. Breathing in and out, melting away tension and stiffness in those shoulders. Good. Let's take one more shoulder roll. Amazing work. Now I'm going to turn to the side of my mat. You can either be standing with your feet hip distance apart or you can be kneeling like me. I'm going to lift my palms up so they're facing forward and then sweep the arms down and back. Lift the arms up so they're in line with the shoulders and sweep them down and back. So as we lift up, we don't want to be arching the spine, but we're stacking the vertebrae one on top of the other, mobilizing the shoulders, focusing on the posture. Good, and lengthening through those arms. Nicely done. I want you to grow up a little bit taller with each repetition. Really lengthening the spine. Let's go 3 and 2. And final 1, lift and lower the arms down to shoulder height, palms facing down. Pull back through that right shoulder, looking out, over right elbow, and then forward, pull back with the left side. So alternating sides, I want you to really focus on keeping your hips facing forward. So you're rotating around the thoracic spine here. You're stretching the neck. Good, mobilizing that spine. Really important to warm up the spine before doing Pilates exercises. Good. Let's go 2, pulling back. And 1 more out each side. Get a nice full rotation. Pull it back and lower. Lift the arms up. Reach for the ceiling. And then plant the hands down on the mat, coming into an all-fours position. From here, we're going to step the right foot between the hands, lengthening and straightening that back left leg out behind you. Coming up into a lunge, gently pushing the left hip forward, feeling that stretch and lengthening in the left hip flexor. From here, keeping the palms facing down, we're going to reach back with the right arm, looking out over right shoulder, then to center, and then reach back with the left arm, reaching and stretching, sinking into that stretch as you do so, feeling it in the hip area, feeling it in those shoulders as you reach for opposite ends of the room with those fingers. Good, for 2. Nice work. And last 1. To center, lower hands, bring right knee down, bring left foot forward, straighten your right leg out behind you. And let's repeat that sequence. Good, sinking into the stretch, feeling it in the right hip. Good, reaching back, really mobilizing those shoulders, mobilizing the spine, breathing as you do so. For 3 and 2, reach back. And final 1, take your hands down and bring your knees nice and wide. Stretch and lengthen through those arms and curl your toes. Flex your feet here. From this flexed foot position, we're going to inhale And as we exhale, we're going to come forward into a high plank, holding here, shoulders above wrists, and then lower the knees and stretch back, lengthening through the tailbone. Shoot forward, drawing your navel in towards your spine, holding flat line with the body, and repeating. Firing up those upper body muscles, firing up the core. Nicely done. We've got 3. Hold with your core engaged in that plank. For 2, give it energy. And final 1, we're going to shoot forward. Then we're going to bring the legs so that they're about shoulder distance apart, parallel, setting ourselves up in a nice, strong, high plank. From this position, we're going to bring the right knee in toward the chest. We're going to lift up and lower so the right shin is parallel with the mat. Lift up, scooping belly in, and lower. One more like this. Lift up, then extend the leg out long, reaching and stretching. And let's repeat that. Coming forward, lifting, and bringing the leg down. Lifting, scooping in the center of the abs, and lower. Last one, lift and stretch back, lengthening. Amazing work. Last set on this right side. Powering up through those shoulders and arms, scooping the center of the abs in. And last one, reach and stretch, and lower that right foot down. Take a moment here to relax in downward dog. Lift that tailbone nice and high, flattening out the upper back. Breathing here for 3 and 2 and 1. Nice work. Now we're bringing the left knee in, scooping abs in to lift the left leg. For 2, nice work. And 3, reach and stretch back, lengthening through left toes. 2 more sets. 1 and 2, scoop belly in. And 3, lift and lengthen, stretching through those toes. Last set. Lift and lift, stretch back, lengthen through the toes, lower the foot, lower the knees down to the mat, take them nice and wide, and stretch back into child's pose. Hold it there for a moment, stretching and lengthening through the spine. And we're going to move into our next upper body move. So we're coming forward, we're lowering the left forearm down to the floor, lowering the right forearm down to the floor. We're stretching back, coming into a low plank, creating a nice flat line with the body, lifting through the abdominal wall, and then we're going to rotate to the side, lifting and stretching up through the right fingers. If you'd like to lower your knee down to the mat for these exercises or for these side-to-side planks, you can for extra support, otherwise holding in your side plank. Lowering the right arm down and lifting and opening with that left arm. Lowering down and lifting to the side. So your aim here is to keep that lower hip elevated up off the mat as we work those upper body muscles, working the core. Good, shifting from side to side. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. Really challenging yourself by keeping that lower hip elevated, by keeping the abs switched on. Good. We've got 3 and 2 and final 1. Come up and hold for 3, 2 and 1. Nice work. Bring both forearms down to the mat. And we're just going to hold in a low plank. You can bring the arms to parallel if that feels more comfortable. Shoulders above those elbows, core switched on. Nice flat line with the body. Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Wow. Really working those upper body muscles. You're doing great. We're now going to move into some push-ups. So you can do a full push-up or you can keep your knees down on the mat like I am. We're going to spread our fingers and we're going to start off with some wide elbow push-ups. So really broadening across the shoulders. We're going to lower down, elbows are nice and wide, and push up, lower down, and push up through the heels of the hands. And last one, lower and push up. Then we're going to push back into a child's pose. Let's repeat that. Lower and lift. So these are wide arm push-ups. Elbows are poking out to the sides, and then we're pushing back. Good. 3 more. 1 and lift. 1 and lift. Last one and lift, and stretch and lengthen back through the spine. Now we're going to change position with those arms and go into some tricep push-ups, keeping the elbows in close toward the side of the body. So now your arms are parallel, wrists, elbows, and shoulders in alignment. We're lowering down, grazing the sides of the body with the elbows, and then pushing up. 2 more. 1 and lift, abs into lift, focusing on the backs of the arms, and then pushing back into your child's pose. You're doing great. 2 more sets like this. 1 and 2. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. And 3. Push back and stretch the spine. 3 more. Lower and lift. Lower and push up. And last set. Push it up. Take those knees nice and wide and sink back into a child's pose. Stretching and lengthening through the spine. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 and 2 and 1. Great work with those. We're now going to move over onto the side body and focus on the glutes and thighs. So getting down nice and comfortable on your side, I'd like you to bend the knees so you're making right angles with the legs. The knees and the hips are in alignment, and your shin should be parallel with the edge of the mat. Hips stacked, knees stacked, ankles stacked. We're going to plug the navel in. You can either be propped up on your hand or outstretched on your arm. We're going to go into a side-lying version of fire hydrants. So we're going to lift that top leg, keeping it parallel with the lower leg, and lower. Lift, squeeze the side glute, and lower. Lift and lower. So being careful that we're not letting that top hip roll back. We're keeping it stacked on top of the lower hip, and we're really squeezing the bum at the top of the lift, making each of these repetitions really count. Let's go 9 and 8. Squeeze the glute at the top. Tighten the core. Nicely done. Let's go 5 and 4, keeping those legs parallel. Last 3 and 2 and final 1. Lower the knee down. Now from this position, we're going to draw an arc in the air with that knee and then knee to knee. So drawing that arc in the air, so you're shifting, the toes are up and then the toes turn down, and then we lower the knee to the knee. Good, so it's a very small range of movement. You should really start to feel it in the gluteus medius muscles as you shift that toe down and back up. Good, let's go 10 and 9, keeping those hips stacked, keeping the core engaged. Good. Let's go 5 and 4. Squeeze that bum at the top of that knee lift. Nice work. And final 1. Lower the knee down. I can really feel that work building in the glutes. I hope you can too. From here, we're going to bend and extend. So tap the knees together and then extend. Tap, extend, abs in. Tap, extend. Good. Breathing through it, relaxing those shoulders, focusing on those glutes and thighs, doing the work. We've got 7, 6 full extensions before tapping knees together for 4, 3, 2, And one, amazing work. Lower that top leg down. You're doing so well. Okay, that was my right leg I was just working, so now I'm going to shift my focus to the left side. I'm coming up to the top of my mat. Shoulders are broad, knees are below the hips, core is engaged. I'm going to bend the left knee, toes are pointed here. Keeping the hips square with the mat, I'm just going to move into a very simple exercise where I'm lifting and lowering that knee. Now your aim here is to really engage the core, so pull your belly toward your spine as you bring that big toe up toward the ceiling. And really focus on those left glutes doing the work, particularly at the top of the lift, squeezing that bum to get the lift. Good. Keeping everything really stable in the trunk area. Shoulders stay nice and broad. Let's take two more here. And last one. Now, from that knee tap, we're moving into an extension. So tap and extend the leg. Tap the knee and extend. Good. Again, keeping those hips square with the mat. Really focusing on the hamstrings and the glutes here as you squeeze the bum and extend the leg. Good work. You've got this. Let's go 5 and 4. Keep those shoulders nice and broad. Keep pushing that away for 2 and final 1. I'd like you to come out, bend at the knee, make sure both hip bones are facing down toward the floor. Engage the core and pulse. Little controlled pulses here. Keeping those shoulders broad, keeping those hips level. You've got this for 10, 9, 8, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold and squeeze at the top of the lift. Amazing work. Lower your knee down to the mat and push back into child's pose. Take a breather here. Keep holding and stretching back in that child's pose. And we're going to breathe out one more time and lift ourselves up, preparing to do the work on the opposite side. So let's get nice and comfortable on the side body, bending those knees, shins parallel with the edge of your mat, knees in line with hips. And from here, we're going to go into those side-lying fire hydrants to really fire up the side booty on that left side, squeezing the glutes at the top of every lift. Good. Working the inner and outer thighs here as well. Let's go 8, 7, keep those hips stacked. 6, you can kind of feel right here for the feedback. Make sure you're contracting those glutes with every lift. Good. And let's take one more. Nicely done. Now, from this position, we're lifting just the lower part of the leg, and we're doing that little arc, being really careful not to roll back. So it's a small range of movement, and we're really focusing on engaging those glutes, working deep into the stabilizing muscles in the hips, and strengthening those thighs here too. Let's go 10. Good. Drawing that arc, squeezing the glutes. Let's go 4, 3, 2, nice form, and final 1. Keep that lower leg elevated, and then we're extending. Tap the knees together and extend. Ooh, this side booty series is a real burner, super effective, especially if you've got those hips stacked, that core engaged, and you're fully extending the leg on each repetition. Shoulders are relaxed. You're doing so well. Let's go 5 and 4. Abs in. 3. Breathe through it. And 1. Amazing work. Now moving into that all fours position. Positioning the wrists so they're below the shoulders and the knees are below the hips. Really powering up through that core, squaring the hips with the mat, bending the right knee and lifting. Now I want you to be really careful here in terms of your back. That's why we're engaging the core with every lift. Breathe out, lifting belly button to spine. So we're not overarching that lumbar spine. We're keeping everything really tight and controlled and working deep into those glutes on the right side. Good. Squeeze the bum as you lift. Let's go 4 and 3. Last 2 and final 1. Good. Now we're tapping the knee and extending. Abs in. Tap, extend. Squeeze the bum on every extension. Lengthen and contract those hamstrings. Good. Try not to collapse in the shoulders here. You keep pushing the mat away. Gaze stays down on the mat. We don't want to lift the head or lower the head too much. We want to keep that neck in line with the spine. Helps with form. Good. For 2 and final 1. Bend at the knee, big toe pointing up toward the ceiling. And switch on that core as we pulse and pump the leg up toward the ceiling, working those glutes. Nice, strong, stable trunk here. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lift the knee a little bit higher, squeeze the glutes, and then relax it down. Nice work. Take your knees nice and wide, sink back into your child's pose, and take a breather here, enjoying that stretch in the spine as well as in those hips. For 3 and 2 and 1. Amazing. Okay, from here we're getting into our ab series. So I'd like you to lower down to the mat, 1 vertebrae at a time, 1 vertebra at a time. And we're going to take the hands behind the head. Elbows are wide, fingers are interlaced. From here, we're going to ensure that the feet are hip distance apart. There's a little bit of space between the low back and the mat, but as we curl up, we flatten the low back to the mat. Lower, inhale, and exhale to lift. Lower and lift, drawing your belly button in towards your spine. Really switching on those abs as we peel head, neck, and shoulders up. Keep those elbows nice and wide. Head rests heavy in the hands, so we're not pulling head up, but we are really focusing on getting that lift by contracting the core. Good work. We've got 3. Lift a bit higher. For 2, flatten those abs. And last 1, and lower. Now we're going to add some arm pumps as we're up in our crunch. So we're inhaling to prepare, and as we exhale, we're curling up, reaching those fingers down toward the end of the mat and pumping the arms. Nice, strong, straight arms, hands come behind the head, and we lower, repeat. Lift and hold, tension on the abs, 1, 2, 3, and lower down. Good. Peel up, hold that crunch, pump the arms, and lower. Good. Now, as you pump the arms, breathe out. And lower down. Good. So as you're pumping those arms, you're contracting the core, you're holding in that crunch. Nicely done. Now as you come up, make sure you're peeling up high enough that your head rests on top of your shoulders and your gaze is looking out between your inner thighs. Really important. You don't want to be looking up at the ceiling as you crunch up. Keeping your chin tucked. Good. We've got 3 and 2. Pump, pump, pump. Reach those fingers to the end of the mat. And last 1. And lower down. Great. Now from here, we're building on. We're taking the arms over the head. Palms are facing up toward the ceiling. Now as we lift up, we're going to Lift the legs into tabletop and then pump the arms 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lower, sweeping the arms back. Good. Lift, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lower. Try to breathe out the whole time. And then nice deep inhale as you lower down. And lower. Good. You're doing so well. Keep it up. 5 pulses. Nice, strong, straight arms. Good. And if you want to build on from that, we're going to extend the legs for those 5 pumps. If that's too much, keep your legs in tabletop. Otherwise, squeeze legs together and extend out long. Good. Creating more challenge for those abs. Amazing work. Last 2 sets. And on our last set, we're going to come up and hold either in tabletop or with legs extended, and we're going to continuously pump the arms. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holding in this crunch position, lowering head, neck, and shoulders if you need to, and just focusing on that breath work and that core engagement. Otherwise, holding in that crunch. 2 more sets. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe all the air out of the lungs and bring the knees in toward the chest. Amazing work working those abs from that position. Now from here, we're going to move into some flutter kicks. So I'd like you to take your hands on either side of your tailbone to protect your lower back, and we're going to extend the legs out long. If you want more of a challenge, you can take your hands behind your head, extend through those legs, and flutter them in the air, up and down. Good. Breathing as you extend and flutter for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Lower both legs down to the mat. Nicely done. We're now going to finish off with some oblique work. So I'd like you to take your hands behind your head. Elbows are wide. I'm anchoring down, pressing my left heel into the mat, and then I'm going to lift the right knee up and extend the leg out, float it, and cross over left elbow to right knee. As I said, I'm anchoring down through that left heel so I'm not rocking around in the hips. Good. 2 more. Really pick that left shoulder blade up and lower. Anchor down through your right heel and cross over. 1 and 2, 3, rotating around the rib cage to work those obliques. And 5, switching sides. Good. Anchoring down through left heel and crossing over to the right side for 5. Good. 2 and 1. Lower down, switching sides. You're doing so well. Keep it up. Really pick that right shoulder blade up off the mat. Last set, each side. 1, 2. Nice work. Switch it over. Final set. Make it a good one. 3, 4. Abs in, and 5. Nicely done. Let's roll over onto the stomach and prepare for our abdominal stretch and our cool down. So you can take your hands on either side of your shoulders or come up into a cobra stretch. So forearms down or forearms lifted up off the mat, feeling that stretch all the way through the abdominal wall. Breathing deeply here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing work. Lower down. From here, we're going to bring ourselves into a plank position. We're going to fold the right leg under the body, stretching and lengthening. that back leg out behind you, coming into pigeon pose. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. For 3, stretching into those glutes. And 2, and final 1, coming back into plank and folding the opposite leg under the body, stretching that right leg out long behind you. Breathing into those tight areas in the hips and the glutes. For 4 and 3, last 2, and final 1. Amazing work, stretching your right leg out to the side and then reaching up and over, folding over to that right side, keeping your left bum cheek down on the floor as you stretch and lengthen through the side body. For 3 and 2 and 1, recenter and switch sides. Lifting up and folding over. Reaching and lengthening through the side body. Again, keeping that right bum cheek down on the floor so you can really feel the stretch from the hip all the way through the side and into that extended leg as well. For 3 and 2 and 1, crossing your legs, lifting your shoulders up, inhaling and exhaling to roll your shoulders down and back. Good. 2, melting away tension. And final 1, lift those shoulders and melt them down and back. Amazing work. That was a challenging routine even without any weights. I hope you feel strong and well stretched, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for moving with me, and I look forward to working out with you again really soon. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks for joining me this morning. Bye.